Okay, listen up.
Right.
The upcoming games X and Y take place in France, and it turns out some kingdoms in Old France had lions on their coat of arms, including the coat of arms for a city named Lion.
Oh.
So I need you to design a lion Pokémon.
Alright, I love lions. Lions are super cool. There's so many ways you can take a lion design. So much symbolism has been packed into the real-life lore of lions in the West. So I'm excited. Yeah, I'm on it.
Oh, hold on just a moment. I need to let you know, it must be a fire type.
Oh, so like the lion Digimon, Coronamon, Pheramon, Flaramon, and Apollomon? And like the fire lion Godzilla Kaiju, and the fire lions from Kirby, and the lion in Panel de Pon, and Buer from Castlevania, and Fistella from Mega Man, Terrostra from Monster Hunter, Wildfire and Skylanders, Blazion and Yokai Watch, Fire Leo in Beautiful Joe, Kamen Rider when charged with lion power, most lion-based Super Sentai, Gryffindor's Elemental Associations, Ryber Rays and Raikan from Temtem, the Spectral Lion from Monster Sanctuary, Simba in Kingdom Hearts, Zetterburn from Rivals of Aether. Granted, those last few aren't out yet, so how do I know about them?
You can stop.
I could go on.
I realize that. How do we differentiate a fiery lion to make it less generic? Oh, I know! We'll make it fire normal type!
Isn't normal our own generic type?
Just get designing.
1 hour later.
Almost there. How are our players supposed to know that it's fire type?
Well, it's also normal type, so it has to be a bit on the generic side.
Add the kanji for fire to it.
Like as a cutie mark?
No, on its mane, of course. Something like this. There. It's perfect.
Pyroar is just kind of a Pokemon, isn't it? And now that they've Mega Evolved it, it's just kind of more... But surely there's a reason lions are associated with fire, right? Just as there's surely a reason Game Frequent with the idea of making their fire lion be fire normal type. Or has a Mega that just does that. What is even the deal with that? Well, I'm Lockstin, and answering questions like that are what I do on this channel. So if you're interested in Pokemon design, lore, origins, and what have you, then subscribe now! So, here's a blazingly true story about my personal life, brought to you by today's sponsor, Uber Eats. Last April the 20th, I invited several of my friends over for a stupid comedy movie binge, and about halfway through the third movie, I realized I hadn't planned food at all, and you know how it is. I had a massive craving for a sandwich longer than my arm. Worst of all, none of us were able to drive, so Uber Eats saved the day, and surprisingly my wallet. I got a free sandwich just for using it, and it turns out there's Uber Eats exclusive deals on there all the time. This was my first time using it, but setting it all up was easy, even for the state of mind I was in. I browsed through hundreds of restaurants and grocery stores in my area, easily placed my order, generously tipped my savior, by which I mean the courier, and tracked the delivery all through the app. It was simple, fast, and stress-free. As if I could even be stressed out in that state. Food delivery through Uber Eats is a good option to have, and by using my code here, you'll get $15 off your first purchase of $20 or more, and I hope you enjoyed this brief and mature glimpse into what I occasionally do outside of this channel. Now let's talk about a cat that's blazed. So firstly, why is Pyroar here? Well, before France was France, it was a plethora of smaller kingdoms and peoples. One of the most notable were the Celtic Gauls, who more or less, and less, controlled the land from the 5th century BCE to roughly the 5th century CE. Though for those last few centuries, they were Roman Gauls, incorporated into the Roman Empire. During that Roman colonization, in the year 43 BCE, the city of Lyon, or Lyon, if we're pretending to be French, was founded thanks to its strategic location in continuing the colonization of the Gauls. And today it is the 3rd biggest city in France. And yes, while it looking like it sounds like the English word lion is a coincidence, it looks like it sounds like lion, come on. Its flag and coat of arms even has a lion on it, and it's what Kalos City in Pokemon X and Y is based on. And also, the only place in these games where you catch a Pyroar. Fitting! At least by modern Kalos or modern France standards, anyway. But as recently as 3,000 years ago, lions just lived in Europe, mostly southeastern, hence them being popular symbols in Macedonia and the like. But as you go further back in time, just 10,000 years ago, they did indeed call the bulk of Europe home. Ultimately, lions in Europe were outcompeted for hunting grounds and even hunted themselves for killing humans and their livestock, and famously were captured and brought in for gladiatorial battles in Rome Roman Colosseums. Kinda like a Pyroar versus Armarouge battle, right? But Pyroar is not just thematic of this part of the region, it's also thematic of the main villain, Lysandre, leader of Team Flare, who always has his Pyroar with him. Though, it's not his ace Pokemon. The heck? But it's so like him. His hair and jacket are like... It's Pyroar. The higher-ups at Team Flare are even similarly set up. For every male Pyroar, there are 7 female Pyroar, similar to real lion prides. So Lysandre surrounds himself with supermodel scientists. Celosia, Bryony, Eliana, Mabel, and even Malva, the gym leader who's also a Team Flare member. Lysandre is a man who loves beauty above all. That's his villainous goal even. And like, have you seen women? Egad. But what about Xerosic, the one other man? Well, compare his hair to Lysandre's. Lysandre's is very much Pyroar-coated, or at least much closer to it, and Xerosic's, that is clearly Litleo-coated. This man is a cub, a kitten. When it comes to the male-female balance of lion prides, the cubs rarely, if ever, count, until they get old enough, of course. Though some prides do allow 1 or 2 lesser males to remain. Oh no, is cub a gay term? Oh no, it is. But yeah, despite Pyroar fitting so perfectly with Lysandre and Team Flare, it's not his ace Pokemon, meaning his best and highest leveled one, and I think I know why. Pyroar at the time of X and Y doesn't Mega Evolve. The big gimmick of the game. Obviously, the big final boss villain needs his strongest Pokemon to be the one that Mega Evolves, so it's a Gyarados instead. But if Pyroar could have Mega Evolved back then, it absolutely would be Lysandre's main mon. Especially since male lions, like Lysandre, care a lot for beauty. While the female lions do the bulk of the hunting and child rearing, the males keep watch, kinda. They rest for 20 hours a day, so they have more time to keep their gorgeous manes clean and nice looking. Oh, I want to pet one so bad. But I won't. I won't! But that goes right along with France's and the game's whole theming of beauty, so a lion Pokemon definitely had to happen here. But what's with the fire typing? Why are there so many gosh dang fire lions in media? Surely it can't just be because of the Chimera.
Yes, it is.
These days, Chimera means an organism containing a mixture of genetically different tissues, formed by processes such as fusion of early embryos, grafting, or mutation. And it's also this fish. But that name comes from a beast from old Greek mythology. The Chimera, a monster that takes a goat's body and gives it the head of a lion and the tail of a snake head. Different depictions will differentiate the proportions of each part differently, most commonly making the whole body be a lion's body too, but with the goat's head slapped on its back. But aside from this strange mix of animals, there's always one other defining feature. They breathe fire. It's the original fire-breathing lion. Except it isn't. The idea goes even further back 3,000 years, from the time of the Greek Chimera even. The ancient Egyptian goddess Sekhmet takes the form of a lioness, and while a lioness, she can breathe fire. It was even said by some that the hot winds from desert heat waves was caused by her breath, or at the very least, was likened to it. Which brings to mind one of Pyroar's dex entries. The temperature of its breath is over 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, but Pyroar doesn't use it on its prey. This Pokemon prefers to eat raw meat. This particular entry doesn't even mention fire, just that it has hot breath. Sekhmet was hot because she was the daughter and eye of Re, the sun god, both figuratively and literally. Don't think too hard about it. And as you can see, she had long hair or a wig all pushed behind her ears, just like the female Pyroar. And this supposed Egyptian connection can also explain the dark area behind Pyroar's eyes. The Egyptians popularized this eye makeup style. The choice to make their cheek lines reach up to their eyes may reflect that too. But back on topic. Fire breath is an easy ability to fathom a solar deity having, as is likening the sun to a lion's mane. When the sunlight hits the mane just right, It glows or has a corona like the sun. It looks like a fiery ball of pure kitty majesty, which is what lions came to symbolize: power and the right to rule. Hence why they are so common in heraldry and such throughout history. Heck, male Pyroar's whole mane is shaped like mini escutcheons, the fancily embellished shields on royal coat of arms and such, and it's fitting. They are kings. Their pride and territory is their kingdom. Lion King, anyone? The one male Pyroar in Blueberry Academy even references Pride Rock from Lion King. It's great. Which is also the symbol that male Pyroar has on its mane. Great, because even the most Western-inspired Pokémon always have a little touch of Japan in them, since they're designed mostly by Japanese designers and all. Gozan no Okiribi is one of Japan's most famous festivals, and its most famous aspect? The Daimonji, written in the hillside and then set on fire at night. This symbol is a character meaning big or great, which lions certainly are. And being a big fire, well, the kanji for fire is this. While Pyroar's face gets in the way of us seeing if that horizontal line is connected or not, that barely matters because both options work perfectly, so I think that's the idea. That said though, now it mega evolves and gets a hat made out of the mane of another Pyroar? I guess? Odd, but I do like that it includes the longer, thin mane that female Pyroar have, since both forms can mega evolve into this. But what does it say now? That's clearly the kanji for fire on top, but does writing it over this mean anything different? Why yes, take a look at this. It's the kanji for fire written tiny and then stacked on top of another tiny kanji for fire. Together this makes a new character, which means burning hot, inflammation, or blazing. It's hotter than just a fire, it's an entire blaze of flame. You could think of it like the difference between a nice campfire and your entire house burning up. And that really is it, isn't it? It's got some red markings on its face and more detailed eyeliner, but come on. Game Freak. They really did just give up, didn't they? Unless... is this Kabuki Kumadori now? Particularly the Tsuji Guma, considered the most widely known Kumadori? Kabuki is a style of Japanese theater that dates back to 1603. They would wear dramatic stage makeup to emphasize their faces and character traits, and quite famously, women were not allowed to perform it. So any female character had to be acted by a more feminine man. Perhaps alluding to why Mega Pyroar has traits of both? And plus, its more obvious Japanese symbol would hint at more Japanese roots. So perhaps we need to take a look at one of the most well-known Kabuki plays, Renjishi, which tells the story of a frail old lion passing his kingdom down to his strong son, with themes of the circle of life and helping the next generation. And I can't help but notice the similarities between these main whipping dance moves and this Mega Pyroar attack animation, but maybe that's just giving this design too much credit. As is this next bit. Have you ever wondered why escutcheons and coat of arms and such are so gosh dang complex? Well, they weren't always that complex. In the early Middle Ages, they were quite simple, actually. These are from 1270, but by 1605, oh gosh. While I'm oversimplifying here, of course, the main reason they changed was because the kingdom or royal family itself was changing. Kingdoms came and went all the time, and when two royal families with two different bits of heraldry would have their son and daughter marry, they would bring their different symbols with them into a new symbol that combines elements from both. So, of course, after several centuries of that, yeah, they'd start to get complicated, and thus, of course, Mega Pyroar with its escutcheon-shaped mane would be this complicated too. It's combining two different manes, and then some. But again, maybe that's just giving this design too much credit. So, it being here and looking the way it does is all fine and dandy, but why is it fire normal type? Well, there's a bigger conversation to be had about Pokemon types and what they are and mean in general, but that's definitely gotta be its own video. But the short and simple answer in the context of Litleo and Pyroar is twofold. First of all, I'm sure there's a Pokedex balancing, competitive gameplay reason for it. Maybe to perfectly counter Aegislash, but that is not my area of Pokemon expertise whatsoever. And the second reason, just kind of look at them alongside other Fire-type Pokemon. Most Fire-type Pokemon are entirely red, yellow, and orange, and many have literal fire coming from their bodies. But not Litleo or Pyroar, who only have red and yellow accents, their mains, and Litleo's little boop button. Boop. Pyroar's main body ultimately is that of a magically powerful lion, but its mane is charged with fire-type energy. This goes along with Pokemon like Hisui and Zoroark, whose main body is a typical body, but whose fluffy bits are charged with ghostly energy. It is both alive and dead. How do you show that? Normal ghost type. Or Grafaiai, it has a normal lemur body, but it happens to breathe and spit poison. Sawsbuck is ultimately just a regular magic deer, but whose antlers are trees, filled with grass-type energy. It's the same idea here with Pyroar, but with fire. But of course, then there's Gogoat, who's, despite fitting that description, is just grass type anyway. It's not grass normal. Why are they like this? Ugh. Well, here's a video about why Sawsbuck is like that. It's actually quite historically involved, and I dared to go outside for this video, so you'd better watch it. Huge thanks to our patrons and YouTube members for keeping us going, and until next time, never stop using your noggin. I like how Pyroar here, actually, it looks like one of those symbols that fancy jackets have. It's the shape. I don't know why I shook there.